Welcome to TechZilla. I'm Patrick Norton.
I'm Veronica Belmont.
Are you excited?
But what?
The show today.
Yeah, of course I'm excited.
You don't sound excited.
If you had seen me before the show, you would know that I'm totally excited.
She actually...
Bouncing off the walls, had too much soda.
So that's not the sugar crash.
I'm good for at least another 20 minutes, so if we pick up the pace a little bit, I'm sure I'll be fine. I'm ready for some email questions.
I am too.
Alrighty then.
Our first email comes from Richard, who asks, I'm looking to upgrade my notebook memory. Does the brand really matter? Oh.
So it doesn't really matter, right? I mean, it's kind of like cables in that way.
Yeah, and most of the time it is, because chances are if it's the house brand of memory, right, you just buy the cheapest unlabeled memory that's designed to work with your Mac or your PC, right? Just go to your local brick and mortar or online parts shop. If it works okay out of the box, chances are it'll never break. Biggest thing is to make sure the memory you buy matches the specs for your notebook or desktop. You can get that out of the manual for your machine or an online memory guide or picker. Now, that said, we've actually had some high-profile, expensive brands of memory fail right out of the box. It can happen. It's really unusual. We pretty much never had memory from Corsair, Crucial, OCZ, G.Skill, all those good stuff fail. Matter of fact, we pretty much never had any memory fail that was unlabeled in the house brand, the cheap stuff, if it was 100% good out of the box. Basically, if memory runs, it's not like a car engine. You're not going to eat a valve or something. It just tends to go forever. But what you can do as soon as you get it is test it right out of the box. Run Memtest 86 if you install it on a PC, or run Memtest OS 10 if you install it on a Mac. Basically, what the Memtest does is it runs a series of checks against your memory, runs all these different patterns against all the different memory spaces in your memory. We've used it to isolate hardware issues from software issues in the past. It's our favorite tool for memory testing, though we have seen some really cool standalone memory testing machines that we can't even come close to afford, and they're not that useful anyway because they don't really test overclocked memory. So that's one of the things if you're trying to figure out why your machine's blowing up when you overclock it or something.
So it's good to know that if it works right out of the box, it'll probably be good for the life of your machine.
Yeah, and a lot of times, like if you're not overclocking, you know, basically figure out what specs, you know, you basically want to look at the you know, make sure the CAS specs are correct for your memory. Usually it's like PC100, and if that's probably like PC100, PC2300, whatever the spec is, usually that's close enough. If you're going for the absolute amount of speed, that's an entirely different question we'll answer later.
We'll save that for later. Following in the footsteps of New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, Washington, D.C., the Virgin Islands, and the nation of Australia, we, the inhabitants of the Golden State, our beloved California, aka 10% of the U.S. population, will be required to use hands-free when using a cell phone when driving a motor vehicle or risk a hefty fine. The state of Washington is also going hands-free, and both will take effect on July 1st. The new law in California does not prohibit dialing, but drivers are strongly urged not to dial while driving. But it's not a vicious law. Bluetooth ear...
We shouldn't be dialing, or I shouldn't be dialing.
You shouldn't even be holding phones in general because you're just throwing them all over the place.
I'm not throwing it, I just dropped it.
That's okay.
And what's funny about this, right, is it's, you know, it's a state law, it's for safety, but there's no points that are going to show up and impact your insurance. So
well, your safety should be enough, shouldn't it? That should be enough, right? You guys shouldn't be on the phone while you're driving. It's a bad idea.
A lot of people say you shouldn't be talking, period, hands-free device or not. And as a matter of fact, in the state of California, no one under the age of 18 is supposed to be using a cell phone at all. You can use it for dialing 911 and pretty much nothing
crazy.
Else. That no teenagers are allowed to use, or 18 under.
I think it's good, and no offense to any of you teenagers out there, but I mean, I was a teenager, and I remember how totally like whoosh I was when it came to driving. I was like, la 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 la, I'm changing the dials, la 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 la.
That's a scary thought. So, should we talk about some hands-free devices for basically, because the whole idea of this is basically get your hands on the steering wheel and off of the cell phone, even though it's legal to dial.
Right, so you're not all like laid back and talking on your phone.
Lean in, getting that crick in your neck.
Exactly.
We both actually use the Jawbone. This is the new Jawbone. Yes? No? This is my favorite Bluetooth headset right now.
I like it. I think it's really good. It's very light and very comfortable. I have a weird extra fold in my ear, which is very strange, I know. But this one fits okay. I can actually get it in there. My IFB's in there, so you're not going to be able to see it anyway. The IFB fits okay. But you can, you know, snap these off just like any other Bluetooth headset. You know, put them on the other side in case you'd like it on your left ear instead.
On my ear again, am I?
It's gonna be fine. No, it's fine. It's good. It's really good.
Snap it off.
But it's very easy to configure and to set up with your cell phone. So yeah, this is what I use at home. Although my mom says that she can't hear me very well. I can hear her fine. I don't know whether it's just because she, you know, she's like, I can't hear you. You sound tinny.
Tinny is actually pretty common for any Bluetooth device because what happens is, right, because you've got a microphone and then basically digitize the audio, you compress the audio, and you transmit it wirelessly to your cell phone. So there's certainly, and depending on what kind of processing they do on this, it can get really weird. But
that's a pretty good one. It's a fairly advanced headset for sure.
You just have to make sure the little rubbery thingy is pressed up against your cheek, and that's kind of what does the noise cancellation on that.
It also looks pretty good. It doesn't look like one of those crazy wonky cyborg headsets that you can get.
Yeah, some of them are like 4 or 5 inches. This one's actually nice. It's the new version of the Jawbone. Sells for about $120. The old version, which is slightly larger, a little square clip-on, is usually actually $65-$80 now. It's a pretty good deal.
Yeah, and so then there's this thing that is crazy.
This is, the Blue Ant Super 2 3. This is part of a whole fleet of devices that are basically designed to clip onto the visor of your car. This one's really nice because there's big volume buttons on it. There's a clear, hang up and green button. And actually what's kind of cool about this, it talks to you.
Yeah, it sure does.
Yeah. What's your opinion of
Chatty
the U.S.?
Cathy over here will not shut up.
Did you like the U.S. accent?
The U.S. accent kind of sounded like someone else
English.
trying to do a U.S. accent, like someone who doesn't
American
live here
English.
trying to
Select
imitate us.
Like they heard somebody from the plains of Canada and Brooklyn, and they smushed those two accents together. It was a little bizarre. But basically the idea is it does caller ID. It talks to you British, English, French, or British or U.S. English, I should say, since apparently they're radically different. French, Spanish, German. So it'll automatically download your phone book. You upload your phone book to it. It does caller ID recognition. If your phone supports it, it'll actually do, well, we'll talk about some of that because it actually has a lot in common with the other visor clip-on device we have, which is Jabra's SP5050. And it's a little less fancy. It's basically a speaker and a mic only, and you like the fact that the whole face is
Right, it's
button.
just one big giant button there, very clicky and nice, so you kind of know when you've compressed it.
The volume buttons are on the side, which was a little funky for me to get used to. And I like a little more volume out of it, and also the LEDs, I wish they were a little bit brighter.
Right, so it would be going like this if it was a visor. It'd be sitting like this, and then how could you, it would be this way, like that.
We need a visor for
You
demos.
can't really see the
You don't really
the
need
lights
to
at
see
all.
them other than to know that it's on. It's got like 200 hours of standby time and like 10 or 20 hours. I think 20
A nice
hours
big
of talk
speaker on
time.
the front too, so that's good.
It works pretty well. You just need to get the volume turned up. Or maybe I'm going deaf, which is entirely possible.
That is also possible, Mr. Tinnitus Face.
So, what? Little tinnitus is good for you. Use earplugs if you're going to loud concerts or dance halls. Both the Super Ant and the Jabra have built-in batteries, so you don't have to keep them plugged in all the time, which is nice. They both offer, if your phone supports them, voice dialing, reject calls, redial. My phone didn't, which meant I couldn't test that, which made me very sad. And both, of course, have built-in noise cancellation. And, they both sounded actually pretty good.
Not bad.
It's not bad. It was also about $100. One last one. This was actually really cool. It's a Ventura Mini. And I'll hopefully get some pictures of this lighted up and in the car because it's a hands-free, brace yourself, basically plugged into a lighter socket. It is a hands-free Bluetooth audio and phone book. It's got the little thumb control here, and it actually has a FM transmitter to work with your A2DP phone. I hate saying that acronym, but basically you can stream the audio. Yeah.
Stereo Bluetooth?
Something you can't do on an iPhone, but you can do on other phones. So basically you can stream your audio off your phone through this to the FM transmitter and this to your head units. It also actually has a built-in, I also should hold it right side up just for fun, which is hard to tell when the lights are off. Sorry. It's got a USB power adapter so you can power up your USB devices, and it's got an audio pass-through so you can basically run the audio out from this into your head unit.
Oh, wow, that's kind of nifty.
Yeah, so it's a pretty slick device. Something we didn't talk about here is obviously if you happen to have a nice car with a built-in Bluetooth system built into the head unit itself, the Prius I think was the first time I ever saw one of those, where basically the car turned into your earpiece. And head units like Alpine has some pretty good head units, and they're in the middle of, maybe if you guys are curious, we'll set one of those up for you so you can actually hear what the sound quality is. When you go from rocking out stereo from hell to, your mom is calling and then you have a phone conversation with your car stereo, which is kind of fascinating. I kind of like that feeling, but I think we're done with Bluetooth.
Yeah, not a bad roundup, though. Good job.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Well done.
Oh, I got a well
Well
done.
done.
I'm not sure if she's enthusiastic or mocking me.
Who's patronizing you?
I thought so. How about another question?
Okay, another question. Our next email comes from Richard. Get that stuff out of here.
Be that way.
He says, I was hoping you would do a review of the new NVIDIA GeForce GTX 280 graphics card that came out a few days ago. Thank you. You are welcome. And we will. We will do that for you.
Actually, we're not going to do that for you.
I mean, not.
Well, that's another headset I've killed. For anybody who doesn't follow graphics cards very closely, i.e. most of the non-gamers in the audience, this is NVIDIA's latest top-of-the-line GPU. We're talking, brace yourselves, this is not a typo, 1.4 billion transistors. No. Yeah, see, you nearly killed Veronica. And we didn't get that wrong. 1.4 billion, that's about 50% faster. It should be like 50 the card itself is like 50% faster than any single card NVIDIA's ever made. It's huge. It basically takes up 2 slots. It's a double wide card. It's 10.5 inches long, and it sucks down a stupid amount of power to keep those transistors switching. 304 watts under full power. This should be an entire